Hi, Davi here, and today we have a new episode in the art review series, and today we'll be checking out the work of Otto Schmidt. Now, this artist has been, I guess, very influential to me because I've known this artist for, they're one of the early artists that have shifted me into art or that made me want to draw, basically pursuing this whole path of, art. They were one of those figures, although I don't really see their work as often. Maybe it's because maybe I'm not following them or something, or maybe they're just not posting a lot. But I just for comics, they do a lot of I've seen them do a lot of like DC, Marvel sort of projects. So they're in that comic realm. Oh, Russia, is Otto Schmidt Russian? Interesting, or maybe they're based maybe in Russia. So there you go. Well, I will link this page by the way in the description below. It's I do recommend this site, Character Design References. It's such a good site, and they do link like the website, the store if they have any, or Patreon if they have any. So I would just be linking this page because you get everything, right? And they do have a nice selection of images over here. Let me just click this. Look at the like the way they break down the forms. It's a lot more abstract, a lot more stylized, meaning it's not as realistic as you would typically see from like more Western types of comic artists, which I do. Although for the face, sometimes I think for the eyes, let me just show you. I've noticed they tend to be a little more small, but and the nose too, but the mouth, they really try to show, you know, the more of it, big lips or big mouth. Because I think you do get a lot of expression, obviously, when you're talking, right? But yeah, I like the proportions. It's very fun, and it makes you just want to try it yourself. It does look kind of easy, right? That's the vibe anyway. But once you start doing it, it's like so hard. But yeah, also the way they break down the forms is like really interesting to me. Reminds me a little bit of the work of Ramon. Is it Ramos or Ramon Nunez? Look at this guy. Like they just know how to break. Like they're not so scared or stuck in the anatomy. Like they've basically strangled the anatomy and they can just play around with it and push things, simplify things in the way they want to. I do like their proportions because every artist has like their own facial proportions, right? It's not like anime where it's sort of like pointed, it's almost like a ball, but it's like kawaii, right? They do add the chin is very apparent, so there's that, but it still looks feminine, right? And hot. Oh, I do like the brushwork here. Lots of textures. This one is mostly in pen, but the hair and the jacket for the lady in the back, I love the textures. It's so cool, and I like how the hair was drawn too. Like, look at how the edge of the hair isn't even like when it's rendered. It's kind of soft. The edge. It's not like a hard shape, so it has a sort of fade out effect, like an airbrush almost kind of vibe. I think it's a good sort of approach if you want to render things quickly. Now this one's a bit of the opposite thing where it's very tightly painted, right? But you can tell by the proportions it's still their work. I do see a little bit of Disney sort of vibes here. I'm not sure. Oh, I love this one. Is this Vampirella? I do know, I've seen like a character of this in like comics, Western comics. Like the design is so familiar. It reminds me of, again, I think it's a character named Vampirella, basically a vampire chick who's super hot. Oh, I love this turnaround, and I'm so glad they did include like this specific sketch. No color, right? It's all in like this purple pink or hot purple pink sort of color. But you can tell they were able to jot down just the major, like the line just seems so efficient, like bam, 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 right? If you want to learn how efficient and how simplified or how simplifying stuff can look good, Otto Schmidt. Oh, another guy, another artist. I think MyInputwo. Let me just write it. MyInputwo something, or MyInputwo. They have a similar approach where the lines are just, although they do render it to like a somewhat semi-realistic level, but the style is very similar in that it's lots of exaggerated, and they feel like, or it feels like when you look at their work, like they're not afraid of the anatomy, and they just know how to simplify it, and they're not overworking the details. You know what I mean? There you go. Oh no! Look at the armpits on this one. I'm not sure where she's from. I do like the mix between like more chunky or straight lines and curvy lines. It's not all. I mean, maybe for some sketches it's gonna be a little more gestural, meaning more softer edges, or softer curvy lines like this character over here. And it does look a little more animated, but for some sketches or drawings, I just see a little bit of that like straight. Let me just side of straight and then curve. Like they have it's almost like a blocky sort of. Okay, that's too much. You know, like it's straight and then kind of like that. My drawing is gonna be ugly here, but you get the point. So they do have that good balance. Oh, let me just see it again. Ugh, my God, it's so good. Nice arms too. Oh, the forearms are kind of thick. Clearly works out. I'm not sure who she is. Is she Storm? I'm just thinking because of the white hair. Yeah, the shoulder muscles. You can even see a little bit of the back muscles there. Oh, look at oh. Wow, this is where it's at, guys. This is where it's at. Okay, let's move on because they have a lot of work here. Oh, I can actually just click next. Instead of clicking, I can just click the arrow button here. So here we have a grayscale, lots of textures, but yeah, looks like some kind of like Soviet spy. I don't know, or a cop. Oh, reminds me of another artist. They also like exaggerating their shapes. Let me just pause the video and find it. Found it as I just checked the my like list of artists. It's Toni Infante. Same kind of vibes, Toni Infante. And they also like using like the color choices are kind of the same too, where it's like really saturated. For some paintings anyway, right? And they do have like a more straighter sort of drawing style, meaning it's not all like curvy, which you will see a little more in the comics. Like I think it's because they're so used to drawing anatomy that they just know how to simplify. This is pretty cool. So it's a drawing, but it's like imposed on a photograph. So it's basically like Catwoman stretching. Oh, look at, oh my God, she's so hot too. And cute. Wonder Woman, clearly jacked. Although the hairstyle is very like classic. It's not like the modern like hair down, but curvy, where the hair is sort of just beside like the face. It's sort of in the back of her head. But oh my, looks like a CrossFit sort of athlete. Mother? Anyone? Mother? Oh, look at those arms. Like, mommy? Mommy? Oniga. I like the rendering too. I don't see a lot of like brush variety. I mean, in some black and white sketches, they'll add some texture, but for the most part, like the way they render is kind of simple, and they really want to accentuate the forms. Where I don't see a lot of like vagueness in their work. Let me just go back to this one. This one doesn't have a lot of like value variation. I mean, a little bit just to show where the light sources are, but it's not like super rendered. And yeah, I think it's good because it helps you focus more on the story. Check out the last artist reviewed, Catwoman again. Oh, what is she doing? She's so horny. I like the sketch. Pretty cool. Oh, the way they. Let me just show you. The color seems so like minimal, which it is, but I think what really sells it is where the light hits. The nose, a little bit in the upper part of the lip, and the top part of the cheek. And here. Like it's so subtle, and you see a little bit of blue coming from the background, or the color from the background is being imposed on this side of the face a little bit, and even in the hands. That is so. It's like it's a very like quiet sort of shot, and it's really about her sort of, and her eyes are big. Like she's clearly focusing on something like a cat, like an actual cat. So maybe she has her eyes set usually on Batman. I don't read the comics, but she has kind of a thing for Batman, which is awesome. I'm not sure who this character is, but Black's Mary. dreadlocks are kind of cool, but they're hard to draw because you do have to chunk it out, and it's not like straight hair. Obviously, it's more think the hair of the Yatwa Predators, where it's a lot thicker. So has that cowboy sort of vibes based on the pants. Like it sort of flares out at the bottom. This one seems like from a game. I forgot the game. Overwatch maybe. But look at the anatomy. It's so like pulled and just pushed. Very animated looking. Oh, it reminds me a little bit of a Madao. That's right, Madao. Madao. Sometimes, by the way, I forget to write the recommended artist just because I forget. Not sure who this is, but she's kind of a cyborg. Looks like it. Oh, they do enjoy adding some textures. You can tell. Yeah, this one's another Catwoman piece. They tend to draw her in these sort of quiet moments. I mean, I know she's a bad guy esque or bad guy adjacent, but like she's more of a. I mean, she's a thief essentially. It is more of a loner. She likes to work alone. But there's a sort of like introspective side to her, I think. Kind of like a black cat, And the lighting is just great here. The stars in the background. Like, it's so cool how art can make you feel things. I forgot this character's name, but she's like a magician or something. Oh, a bunny suit with some like, what do you call this? Like, not lacing. It's a net. Kind of hot. Ooh. So some character explorations. Punisher, maybe perhaps the girl version. I can tell by the dress or this symbol. I think it's the symbol of the Punisher. The drawing here with just a simple sort of like texture, purple texture. It's so cool, like the efficiency. Where they're not like overcomplicating stuff. It reminds me of the work of like TB Choi. Check out their work. Sometimes she'll post videos or do live streams on YouTube. But I think she's mostly on Twitch. I don't know. But yeah, they just have a way of simplifying like the figures, the anatomy, and a lot of their work has that sort of sketchy vibe too. Or maybe I just tend to gravitate more towards their sketchier stuff. Drax. Oh shit! Is that a thing? Oh my god! So that's for the ladies and gentlemen, for all of us to enjoy, right? Okay. Keep quiet. Don't write it in the comments because I might get, limited ad revenue again for the nth time. Oh, this one reminds me a little bit of I don't know, Ahmed Al-Duri? I don't know. A little bit. The Mermaid series, maybe? Or the mermaid sort of challenges he does. Oh, this one's more painterly. You don't really see the sketch lines anymore as much. Who is this goddess? Oh, we have some dogs here. Although it's like cut at the very tip of some toes, but I'll take it. Look at the way they paint too. I think they're using like a basic flat brush. And it's sort of fixed in the horizontal position. That's so cool. And they do approach their painting like gouache, I've noticed. Not so many like mixer brushes being used or blending brushes. It's more about just defining like the planes of the figure or the form. And when they do add textures, it just looks freaking cool. It's almost like done with like pastels, gouache plus pastels, right? It adds that grittier look, and you add to that because the base itself is like a very sort of solid but sketchy ink, and they're not afraid to put in. Well, that's for most like comic or manga people. They're not afraid to use black, pure black, and add colors at the same time. It's sort of part of the medium, like storytelling medium, like manga, comics. Like if you can tell a story just in black and white, not even grayscale, then when you do add grayscale, let's say halftones in manga or some color, like in comics, Western comics, it's just gonna it's more of a complementary thing. It just adds a little extra more, but the base is just. I mean, look at this piece by of Batman, right? The lighting is great. I think if you want to learn like coloring, you need to check out like more, typical like Marvel, DC stuff. I mean, yeah, the subject may be because there's not much variety. It's all like superheroes, but the coloring, I think this is where um it shines the most because it's not just like the cover that's colored. I mean, usually the covers are like painted or like super rendered, but like each page has like a certain level of coloring, which I do admire. Again, blacks, and then when they do add color, there is a lot of texture with those colors. So this is Batgirl, a Rapunzel maybe. I'm just basing on the hair, long hair. Oh, she's hot. Stop. No idea who this is, but it's an interesting figure. I have no idea who these people are. Is this like it looks like an archer or something. I don't know. Why she gotta be like that though? Nah, so hot. Come on. Oh, this one's cute. I think it's Tomb Raider. And there's like a creature in the back. Oh, there's another piece by Otto Schmidt that I think it's one of my favorites, or maybe my favorite piece. Or it's the thing that's very influential to me. Okay, I'm not sure who this is. Red Mask? Demon Chick? Oh no, reminds me of Darling. Darling in the Franks, Darling, because of the small horns. Darling. The style is a bit different, but is this... I'm not sure who this is. Karate? Or it's it's a fighting game or something? I don't know. Like that uniform seems so familiar. Very exaggerated, but so they do have some variety in their styles, right? Not sure what this is, but yeah, they're really good at playing with like the face, everything, the body, the face, the proportions. But what is common is their mastery, I guess, of playing with shapes. Catwoman with some armor. Vampirella. Hopefully, I'm saying her name right. Oh, it's the Atlantis, right? I forgot her name. She was so hot. I mean, she still is, but I remember watching that show. There were two girls that really just made me like wet myself. The first one, which you will see in the beginning of the show, the Disney Atlantis, by the way, the blonde woman, the sort of like, is she like a former military or something or assassin? That scene where she was inviting the main character to the mansion, like the way she just moves is so like old woman but mature vibes, very hot. Now this, I forgot her name too. This one, the main character or one of the main characters. Um, yeah, the scene where she was undressing herself so she could swim, and then the guy with the glasses, the main guy, was like blushing too. Like who wouldn't blush, you know? Yeah. Oh, tan skin. Tan skin is pretty cool too. Okay, let's move on. Oh yeah. Oh, so we have a guard here. I think this is like a. Is this Black Cat? I don't know. But I do like the colors. Again, when you look at comics, Western comics, they do know how to simplify the colors because they have to do a lot of pages with colors. It's not just the actual cover of the comic. So they're very choosy. They have like set palettes. In fact, it's such a thing that they have like it's an actual job. You know, they have an inker, a penciler, and a colorist. Some artists can do all, but the fact that they have that sort of system is it shows you that there's like it takes a different level of thinking to approach that kind of work. Egyptian, Catwoman again, impose on a photo. Oh, this one is one of those pieces too that I really like. I'm not sure where she's from. Reminds me of, first of all, anatomy is very simplified, but it looks so, it has enough realism for you to go, oh shit. Like step the fuck back, right? It's a show, it's a movie where basically they're former Roman knights or legionnaires and they're fighting barbarians, but they also have their own barbarians like they're allied with. And in the end of the movie, or in the fight, the main fight, the barbarians, were they Germans or something? I'm not sure. They painted themselves blue. It's a very it's an old movie, but it's one of those like cool historical-esque action movies, right? There were basically like 12 or 10 former Roman legionnaires or something. And the women in the movie, the women would also fight. It's sort of part of their culture, so that was pretty cool. So it does remind me of that movie. And them walking sort of like naked, it's like so hot. This one is making me feel things. I'm gonna move on. Kawaii. Oh, this one. It's the xenomorph in the background. Was there a cat in the movie? But this is, I forgot her name. The main character of the show, or the movie, the Alien series, or the original one. And it's so cute, right? I think this is what got, or what showed me that you could tell stories in art, and like in one image as well. But also it introduced me. It's one of the first fan art pieces I've seen, and it's very influential in my sort of shift into art. So, there are some artists that have shaped me, and I recommend, once you find, their work, talk about their work, share their work, and because it's nice to see where or which art sort of, or artists sort of shaped who you. Oh my, the bulge is a bit much. I mean, is it though? There you go. That's, oh damn. What the fuck? Reminds me of the Drax. Was it Drax? The one we saw earlier? Oh no. Yeah, I guess that's enough for this art review of Otto Schmidt. Oh, Wonder Woman. This one's part of the modern version based on the hair, I think. But yeah, so check out the work. I will link this page, character design references website of Otto Schmidt in the description below. And hopefully you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye!